Hey, did anybody see the academic advisor from Last Chance U out there?
I heard she was here.
Last Chance U is, if you haven't seen it, it's
That's great.
it will suck you in a hurry. I don't think you guys want to hear me talk about my opinions on Last Chance U, so I'll stop. The stat line that really jumps out at me tonight is Mike Laster's 7 assists and 1 turnover. The passing really hasn't been his forte since he's been here, but he has been one of the most unselfish players I've ever been around, and he goes out helping his teammates win a game. It's pretty neat. The other subplot here is, hey, we've won 3 of 4. We're playing some of our best basketball this season at a good time, and our confidence is high right now. Offensively, we've come an awful long ways, and I'm pleased and happy with our group right now. Defensively, you hold a team to 3 for 20 shooting from 3. That's going to win you some games. We had a 7 three-point made advantage, and that served us well on a night where it was a little tougher getting the line. Questions?
So, did you have a cutoff in your head for when? Okay, if we're playing this much with this much time left, now I'll put in Sam and maybe.
No, my goal was basically to mess with those 2 for as long as I possibly could, and then let them go in. That was when he made the 2 free throws. I knew I was going to put them in. I told them to go in, and they were slow to get up. Otherwise, I would have gotten in on the free throw before, and I wouldn't have had to take the time out. But I was probably messing around with them so much they didn't get a clear idea of what my intentions were.
I saw you squatted in front of Sam and Antonio. What were you telling them in those final few minutes?
Sam was lobbying to get into the game immediately, and I knew he would, so that's why I sat there. I was just messing with him. I mean, that's all it was at that point.
It's kind of fitting. This is the team you had 19 points in the half, 50 in the game against the first time through. Since that point, you've been averaging 84.5 points. Is it simply just the ball movement, the sharing of the ball? Has there been?
It's our assist numbers. We had 3 assists against these guys the first time, and we had 20 tonight. And that is a direct result of the reversal of the ball, of the hard cuts. But you can't make people understand what you're trying to do overnight. If it were, you'd just tell them to do it once and it would get done. Between having a couple freshman point guards and between having some upperclassmen that didn't play maybe this brand of basketball until this year on a lot of occasions because we were so ball screen dominant, there's been growing pains. Then you take away a top scoring option in Jason, and you start limiting our guys physically from Jordy to Mike, and they just kept working at it. They just kept working at it, and it's getting there. It's getting there quick.
With this now as the 4th game in a row, you guys have had 5 guys at least in double figures. Kind of a product of what you said, of maybe not having that one go-to scorer, but what are some of the benefits of that, especially in a tournament setting where maybe someone goes hot and you have other options?
Yeah, you're not totally riding one guy's back to get hot for 4 days. You know, it could be different people. It could be a lot of people. And, you know, we had a bunch of guys in double figures. We still didn't shoot the lights out of it, but we were efficient enough to get to 75 points and missed 2 dunks and a layup. But overall, just our execution has just been so much better in the last. And I saw it coming actually before the wins, and we talk about that all the time. Where usually you can start to see trends and things start to click, but. If you got 5, 6 guys in double figures, that means your team is becoming more and more unselfish and understanding that it's easier if we all push together.
How do you guys handle the last game of the regular season, knowing you're going to be on the road that next Monday anyway?
Are you sure of that?
Yeah.
Why? Bowling Green, we'd be tied to them if we won, right?
Yeah, but if you go down the standings, the only team.
Stop. Here's what it goes.
Huh?
It's head-to-head,
Yeah?
and then it's record against division.
No.
Yeah, it is.
Record against division is only used if you're trying to determine a division.
You
champ.
don't know. Don't rain on my parade. I'm holding to it.
I'm just saying, you know,
You work for the back office?
no, I do not.
There you go. I'm gonna live in my little candy world tonight, and then we'll figure it out. You know what?
But either way, if it's a long shot, let's say you're right. I don't think you are, but let's say you are. It's a long shot that you're playing at home on Monday. How do you handle this potential weekend knowing that you're going to have 2 road games, a couple days apart?
How do I know you're a reporter?
I don't know. You got to take my word for it.
Okay. Check his credentials. That we're taking tomorrow off. That's one way. We've got to lighten our load as much as we can here. We are going to go down to Miami, and regardless of where we go next, even if it would be at Miami, which is a possibility, we're coming back home after that. I don't think it's healthy to potentially keep kids away from campus for 10 days. So we'll come back here. Wherever we have to go, we'll go. We could leave right here from Athens, for example. I honestly, I'm not positive on it, so you're probably right. That's your world. But from wherever we play, we would go directly to Cleveland, if that were the case.
I meant more mentally because there's only so many spots you can move up going into this last regular season.
Oh, it's Miami, man.
Coach, you told us the story about Mike, the film room session where you told him maybe don't take that shot at that time. And he's like, yeah, it would have been big if it went in though. And then now tonight, in his last game here, potentially, he sets a career high for assists. So from start to finish, just that anecdote. What does that say about his development as a player?
And as a person. Not that he had a long. Listen. He comes from a great, loving family, great background. So I'm not going to sit here and take all the credit for molding him into this tremendous human being. He was a tremendous human being when he got here, but his understanding of the game, his understanding of everything, and again the obvious fact that makes me believe that he cares as much or maybe a little bit more than everyone else is that he's playing on a bum shoulder, has been all year, and the guy's still figuring out a way to put out career numbers. Dude's playing with one arm.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
What did you guys do defensively to force him into 18 turnovers?
TK set the tone on the first possession where he hopped up a little bit. Their point guard's a little banged up right now, and they've got a really good 2-guard playing the point. But that's not the same as having a point guard. It just isn't, regardless of how you. And TK, I thought early on we hopped them enough that they got out of sorts. The other thing we did is made the conscious decision not to double Wiggins, which hurt us with Wiggins, but I've seen them have their guards get off too many times with Wiggins passing the ball around, and Wiggins is a tremendous player, but we kind of picked our poison there, and again, it's a little easier to do that when you know you're hitting threes at a pretty good clip, trading threes for twos. But overall, I mean, we held them to 39% shooting and 3 for 20 from three. I don't know how many possessions were in the game, but they were.
I think it was mid-70s.
Yeah, so we held them. At one point, we had them midway through the first half at 0.5 points per possession, and there's literally no way you're going to lose at that clip unless you decide not to shoot.
Is that the most uplifting thing you saw tonight? You gave up 108 your last time out tonight. You hold a team to 59.
We've had a couple like that this year where against Akron we scored more in the first half than we did the entire night before. It's been one of those years, but yeah, we had a pretty scathing film session after Buffalo. You don't give up 108 points and tell them everything's going to be okay. At the same time, I also pointed out to them that offensively they're continuing to grow, and you went into a hostile environment and you're over 1 point per possession. And but defensively, our guys were embarrassed. I didn't even have to say that much. Show me what you see here, and it was a long one. But if you can look in your in the mirror and be honest with yourself and level with yourself and say, I've got to be better at this, you're going to come out the other side better as a player and as a person.
The offense obviously has been a lot better in recent weeks. There's a little stretch tonight. I think it was like 7 minutes or something. You guys had 2 points.
We had
You kinda got that
4 out of 5 turnovers in that stretch. Gavin had a couple. We had a couple forces. We got a little dribble happy. One of the mismatches that we thought we had was we had to guard Cook, but Cook had to guard one of our guards coming off screens, and he was on James for a chunk of the night, and there was a point where James got dribble happy rather than making him run off screens, and that stagnated us a little bit. Combine that with some turnovers, and we had that stretch that, again, we had a lot of opportunities to maybe blow it open a little bit, and it seems like we were always able to manage to keep them hanging around a little bit, so it wasn't as comfortable until super late.
What's it feel like for you personally to know that Mike Laster got a win in this last game in this book? Potentially.
I'd like him to keep getting wins. It means a lot. He's had and not only him, but I mean, Frere. I mean, for gosh sake, the guy's been there to do anything for us whenever we've wanted. Even the last couple days, doing a little extra duty with Vanderplas on the other end. He's just been Antonio's. All he's done is work and take elbows from Doug, and one time I thought he got his whole teeth, all of his teeth knocked out by Doug on an elbow. Back the next day, not complaining. And then Kevin, who really ingrained himself so quickly to this program, and it seemed like he was around a lot longer than the 9 months or so that he is.
You mentioned that after tonight was going to be the first time that you really started to check the standings. How much time do you dedicate to that?
Obviously, I checked a little because I got into a mental joust with Arkley over the.
And everyone lost.
And then that's why I don't look at it too close. I'm not smart enough to do the calculations. I think what I'll do is I'll just have our intrepid SID call the league office and say, what has to happen now? Where are we at? Like to win another game. That's it.
Anything else? Eric had 14 points tonight, and the past 3 games he combined for 32. And the 3 games before that he combined for just 4. That happened to make him grow his offense.
He's been the beneficiary of our increased passing. He gets a lot of dump downs now, and some of that is his teammates setting him up with good penetration off closeouts, off that kind of stuff. But the subtle thing that he's doing better is that he's not catching the ball at that awkward 7-foot distance like he has been prone to do. He's parking himself right there at the front of the rim, so when he catches, he can make a move with it right away. But if you get production out of him on the offensive end, defensively, he's always making an impact that makes him a complete player.
You've talked about the walk-ons and Kevin, but Mike was your first recruit here, and he seemed to deliver on anything a first recruit can do for a program. Could you just touch on that real quick?
Yeah. In terms of showing just constant commitment to this program, a perfect example of a guy that, when things aren't necessarily going perfect for him, was still willing to put the team first. And boy, it usually comes back well for guys like that. It really does. His development as a player was marked, and that's what I've always tried to do with my program, is get kids better from freshman to senior year. And so to have the first guy that you take that journey, and to make that's why you do what you do. It's fun.
Anything else? All right. Should be noted, tonight was career win number 200 for Saul Phillips.
Was it?
Good. You got any thoughts about that?
No, none. Not one thought.